Hello there.
May I?
You may.
Maybe the first time I've ever done that.
First time for everything. Welcome
Here
back.
we go.
Welcome back, America.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Mid-Sack Freestyle Friday. The redoubtable one himself, Thomas, with the highly questioned one, R.J. Miliaccio. The weekend is here. You made it. We made it. He made it. We all made it. We all made it. Barely, but we made it.
By the skin of the scrotum.
Barely counts, though.
It does.
Barely counts.
Because it still means you made it.
You persevered. You punched. You pushed through. You dragged your claw. Remember Al Pacino in the Any Given Day? We claw for those inches. Oh, look. Guess what's coming down the road
Move this
while
over
I'm recording?
Move this over here.
It would be my daughter and her friends.
Oh, God. Here comes the circus, folks.
Walk that way. Don't make a lot of noise.
Barnum and Bailey.
Go.
What are you guys doing?
Go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Don't knock over the shirts.
Who is this person?
I don't know. That was my daughter. This is an 18 and over set.
Slow. Move it.
As you can see, there's a truckload of them coming through. We're live. Don't say another damn word. Go that way. And if I hear one giggle, go get it. Go do it quietly. And if I hear so much as a giggle,
Go out the front door.
walk on this because you slip and break your leg or your neck or worse.
They are walking.
Yeah, but
up, y'all?
it's their feet. They might slip and slide. Anyway, while we're recording, my
massive
friend's
umbrella.
Seriously, Mary Poppins in the carpet bag. Jesus. Anyway, segment one was not supposed to be my daughter coming home preparing for a sleepover.
Poppins in the carpet.
Where was I? Redoubtable one, Tom says, a highly questionable one, R.J. Miliaccio. Segment one, NBA recap. I don't know. It's bad, badder, worse, whatever. Bad, worse, whatever it is. The Knicks last night go down into Dallas, who is a good team this year, but they were minus that dude. You know, we call him the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Minus Luka.
I call him the Pillsbury Doughboy. The world calls him Luka.
And I was upset about that because
Yeah.
I wanted the Knicks to see the full speed Mavericks.
The full speed Mavericks.
And they didn't.
Nope.
But they still got
full speed Kyrie.
They still got dominated for most of that game.
Kyrie Irving played, based on what I saw and heard, one of his better games last night. And surprisingly, he did it when his team needed him most.
Double-digit assists.
Yep,
He was in the 40s.
44 points, 10 assists last night.
Yeah,
and
he was really good.
Held off a Knicks rally late to win that game.
I appreciated the Knicks rally to win that game.
Yeah, they fought back.
Because they were down, I'm pretty sure they were down 18 in the fourth quarter. Like I said, they'd cut it to 6 in the third. It ballooned again. But with a minute to go, they were behind by 1 point.
Yeah.
And that shows that,
Yeah.
they weren't going out there bullshitting.
No,
they
they
started slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started super slow.
So it was down to 1 in the final minute. Is that
120
right?
to 121.
Yeah, they're right there.
And then they had that possession where they let the Mavericks get 3 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, we talked about
and
this.
then they hit a 3 off the third
Yeah.
offensive rebound, and that was the game.
So let me make this clear. They stopped them 3 times in a
stopped them
row.
3 times.
But because they didn't box out America, they got 3 in a row. And by the way, I got this. This is from the guy right there. This is why he's hanging up there. Okay? The possession doesn't end until we get the ball. Rebounding is a part of defense. Bill Russell, while he's on that wall, best defensive rebounder ever, ignited the legendary Celtics fast break. That was the dawn of fast break basketball. Red
Thank
Auerbach,
you, James
Bob
Naismith.
Cousy. No, it was Red Auerbach, Bob Cousy, and that guy, William Fenton Russell. Boxing out. The Knicks play William Fenton Russell.
Fentanyl?
Fenton. In any event, this is why he always stressed boxing out and why it was beaten into my head as a young child playing the game. You don't box out, doesn't matter. The Knicks found that out the hard way last night.
I was watching, because it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
I was watching the play-by-play on ESPN where,
Yeah.
in words it says,
the court's right
offensive
there,
rebound,
and then you see a little
offensive
bloop up and a little net gets
offensive
missed.
rebound. I was like, hold on, there must be some kind of issue here. Let me refresh.
Refresh.
And then I saw 3-pointer, and I was like, oh, my God. I mean, I give
dagger through the heart.
It's tough because I give them credit for fighting back. I'm also a little annoyed that they allowed themselves to be dominated by a team that only had one
superstar, and you've got 2.
Right,
A bunch
you got a bunch of strong fucking players right now.
You do.
You had momentum going into that game.
Won 5 in a row.
Yeah, and let me just not get too dumb about it.
No, it's 1 loss on the road to a good team. And yes, Luka was out, but Kyrie picked up the slack, and that's what Kyrie gets paid
And
to
if
do.
Luka was in the game, Kyrie wouldn't have done what he had done.
Probably
it
not.
probably still would have been either they beat him around this or it was a closer game.
I mean, look, the bottom line is if I go through the Knicks stats, I'm sure I can point to a number of things besides the fact they didn't box out in the last position as to why they lost the game.
Well, I told you at points in the first quarter, or in the first half, Dallas was shooting like 52% from three, and the Knicks were shooting, under 20% or 22%.
Yeah, so they were cold and kept taking them, which is the problem with this league. That's a fundamental problem. It's a what do you call it? It's a style of play.
Philosophical
It's
style.
a philosophical issue, and I'm old school, but look, I fell in love with three-point shot because of Larry Bird, so blame him. But the bottom line is, the thing is, while that shot should be in your arsenal, it should not be the primary arsenal, okay? It shouldn't be your number one weapon, okay? Bird used it as a dagger. Okay, he wouldn't do this in the fourth quarter when he wanted to break somebody's back. He'd hit 2 threes and break their back. Okay, he used it as a weapon, not as how many of these can I get up in 1 quarter, and from where, I might add. Okay,
dude, this game tonight, Sacramento and Philly.
As we're talking to you, by the way,
3-3, and it was like at one point Sacramento missed 10 in a row. Guess what they did on the next possession? They hit the 11th time they hit it. Like, my God,
that's terrible.
Do we have Steph Curry, Ray Allen, and fucking
Bird,
Steve Kerr out there?
Chris Mullin.
Jesus.
Are those guys out there? Craig Hodges?
No, they're not.
Dale Ellis, was he on there? I didn't see Dale. What about Legs? Was Legs out there?
Not a single
sniper. Reggie Miller? I didn't see Reggie either.
Not a single one of them is like known for threes.
No,
but they're all just shooting them.
Yeah,
like
none of the guys we're talking about.
The best 3-point shooter was Harrison Barnes, and they were like, one time they reversed it twice.
How many 3-point contests has he won?
Dude, they reversed it twice and finally hit him on like the 15th three, and they were like, now that's the shooter they were looking for. And I was like, Harrison Barnes? I mean, the guy obviously is a good 3-point shooter, but fuck.
Listen. Let me ask you one question.
And I am
when you look at Harrison Barnes, is your first image of him shooting a 3 for a swish? No, it is not. Because that's not what he does.
It's like a role player.
He's a role player, and he can shoot the 3. He's not a knockdown shooter.
He does the dirty work.
When I think of the guys whose named Steph Curry, Bird, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Tim, all these guys, Greg Hodges, Dales, knockdown snipers, Chris Mullin. Don't leave Chris Mullin open, and don't do it. You just start running down the end of the court. It's going in. Okay?
Well, I think there's a lot of guys nowadays that shoot better than Chris Mullin.
No.
No? What was his percentage?
Chris Mullin shot 37% against real defense. In this era, he'd shoot over 40, no sweat. Because he'd be wide open. Because they don't play any damn defense.
Yeah, but what do you say to the fact that they didn't take as many?
Let me explain something to you. And no one figures this out, and I don't know why.
That's what I'm asking.
A professional athlete, regardless of the era, is a professional athlete. Let me tell you why they're professional athletes. Because this is the one thing that transcends all eras, and nobody, not one pro, not one Hall of Famer in sport has ever said it. But I'm gonna astonish you, America. Here's where I drop the knowledge bomb tonight. Do you know what translates in sports? Okay, adaptability. You know how you get to be a pro athlete? Because your ability to adapt to any situation at any time, regardless of the opponent, the environment, the refs, the whatever. That has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with height. It has nothing to do with vertical leap. It has nothing to do with your time in the 40 or how many times you can bench press 225. It has nothing to do with that. Okay?
Thank you, Rudy.
Rudy was never this smart, and he went to Notre Dame. Okay? Well, he had to go to JUCO for 3 years to get into Notre Dame. Finally,
5 foot nothing,
and 100 and by the way, because they thought he was cheating, it took him 3 years to. All right, he must be telling the truth by now.
Nicholas Batum's 4 for 4 from 3-point line.
Who's Nicholas Batum?
Exactly.
The bottom line is this: when J.J. Redick starts flapping his gums, this is the thing that J.J. Redick always misses, and he's a Duke graduate. He should know better. You know why Bill Russell could play in any era? Because he was a professional athlete. Whatever the times were, he could adapt to it. Why? Because he could adapt to it when he didn't have all the technological advances that we have now. Okay? And there's still a video of him taking off from one step inside the foul line and jumping over a 6'2" man and finger rolling in over the rim in 1950, whatever. Okay? He was a world-class athlete regardless of the time. If he had all these advances and these training methods, he could do exactly what these guys could do today.
Sure.
Okay, same thing with Will Chamberlain, just like you could drop Shaq back there. All of it. The bottom line is this.
Malik Monk was 0 for 6 from 3 tonight. That's the bottom line.
And who is Malik Monk, America?
Well, he's a good player on the Kings, but my God, you're 0 for 6,
and yet there'll be a 7th.
Maybe by 0 for 4, start cutting to the fucking
and yet there'll be a 7th before there'll be a layup.
Harrison Barnes, 0 for 4 from 3.
Wait, I thought he was a knockdown shooter.
T. Lyles, 1 for 5.
In any event.
But see, now you look at Philly, 4 for 4 Batum, Tobias Harris 3 for 4, Maxey 3 for 6. Melton, whoever that is, the shooting.
I've heard of Melton. I've
He's
heard
a
of
shooting
him.
guard.
He's a
He's 2
shooting
for
guard.
8.
Yeah, 2 for 8. I've heard of him.
2 for 8.
2 for 8 is not a high percentage in America.
It's not.
Patrick
Beverly's 0 for 4.
Now, see, Patrick Beverly should know he's a thug. That's his role.
He's not a thug. He's an idiot.
He's a punk thug.
These guys are too rich to be thugs.
No, he gets in your head and dances around like I do.
That's not
like I do to Chris Kovac and Joel and everything.
That is.
By the way, did you see Joel's text today? How he tried to tell me Brady, and I labeled the
No,
guys.
what was it?
Oh, I just mic dropped Joel again. Joel's so easy. He's so easy because he tries to talk about my team like he knows more than me. He goes, oh, yeah, you forgot to add these guys to that list of receivers. Yeah, maybe you missed out a few. I'm like, oh, you mean Gronk and Moss? Okay, let's go over the Super Bowls he won with Gronk and Moss. Oh, he won 6 without Moss. He won 4 without Gronk. Enjoy Wyoming.
That's right. I did see that.
Yeah, I gave him the list of the stuff. See, this is where Joel doesn't learn his lesson. Okay, I forgot more Patriots info than he'll ever know. When you can literally at the top of your head go, yeah, he won 3 with Troy Brown. He won 3 with this guy. He won 2 with that guy. I went through every fucking receiver he named and told him how many Super Bowls Brady won without each of them. And by the end of it, Joel probably turned it off because he realized he was wrong and he never responded. At the bottom, I said, enjoy Wyoming. I didn't even drop the mic like I should have.
Okay, so they don't know who Joel is.
Oh, yes, you do. He was the fixture.
They don't know what we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about Joel trying to tell me more about the Patriots.
The only thing worse than the annoyance of a group text is somebody that tries to explain what happened in the group.
You've seen Joel. He's been on the show.
The only thing worse than a group text.
It's true. He's not wrong.
Someone that gives you the play-by-play.
Play-by-play. It was one text.
I know.
I wasn't going through the whole
I'm
chain.
Just saying it has to be said.
One text.
It has to be said.
If I gave you the 13 text, you'd be going crazy. I gave you the 1.
So there's that, and
the
then
Cliff
there's
Notes version, if you will.
So it's somebody giving you play-by-play on a group text. Okay, that you're not in. So that's the first.
I know you're
group
not in.
text that you're not in.
But it's relevant.
No, I'm in.
Oh, you're in.
But I'm saying, in terms of like what's worse, you have somebody play-by-playing a group text that you're not a part of,
Or
somebody talking to you about fantasy football when you're not in their league.
this wasn't fantasy. Oh, that's a different.
I'm saying these are a list.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's play-by-play of a group text.
However, though, with the fantasy football one, if I may, a little pushback. You may not be in the league, but if you play fantasy football, it might be something you can actually relate to, because it may go on in your league also. Depends on what it is. I think with fantasy football, it's more of a case-by-case basis.
If I'm having a conversation with somebody I don't know that well, and I find out,
but why would you be having
about
that?
their fan, like at work or
okay, like a casual.
If I don't really know you, and somehow I know who your starting receivers on your fantasy team are, that's a problem.
Stalker.
And it's annoying because I don't give a fuck.
What if you have that guy in your league? Oh yeah, he's killing me too, man.
No.
What?
No.
That's not valid?
It's just not worth talking about.
But
unless like you've established this is a fantasy football
conversation. Fair enough.
Right? Because I have a guy at work that him and we both walk in and go, how'd you do this week? Because you were giving the play-by-play of a fucking text because you were telling a story about how you told off Joel via group text.
I did. It was wonderful.
That's how we got here, you son of a bitch.
But if you saw it, it was wonderful.
Now let's switch from the Knicks, who after we hugged,
so let me ask you a question. Was this? You're mad about it, but it's not a deal breaker. It happens.
No,
good team on the road, tough game, went down to the wire.
It can't be a deal breaker. Yeah, because they fought back.
Yeah.
Now, even though they fought back, in the back of your head, you're going, but why'd you have to fight back? They didn't have one of their stars. Like, that still lingers, and it's like, okay, let's note that, and as we watch them play good teams going forward, let's see how they respond, okay? And then there's...
Well, they're capable because they beat Minnesota, who's better than Dallas.
They beat Philly.
And I think Philly's better than Dallas, too, yeah.
And they beat those teams at full potential.
So.
Now, the other part of it is Stephen A. kind of acting like this too on TV when, he's just...
We're fans, by the way, but we're mad at you. Well, he's mad at you.
Well, yeah, I love Stephen A., but it's like he's a bit of a fake-ass Knicks fan.
He kind of is.
Because...
I think you are.
Yeah. Because he acts like he loves them.
Yeah.
But then he trashes them.
Oh, trashes them like... if you've been a fan as long as he's been a fan, then... And he's older than me.
But he hasn't stuck around through the hard times.
Mom, can I take the umbrella?
Yes, take the umbrella.
Take the umbrella.
The umbrella.
Is umbrella Italian?
I don't know. Are you driving them or walking?
Oh,
okay.
What a mama.
She's not let you walk. That's a good mom. Get in the car.
They walked here in the rain.
Yeah. That's because their parents don't care. I'm kidding. I know you care if you watch. Anyway, but
Their parents aren't watching.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying. They would never watch trash like this.
Yeah. So there's something about Stephen A. that like.
Back to Stephen A.
It almost feels like he trolls the Knicks while being a fan of the Knicks.
Well, look at it.
And like a week and a half ago, he was like, I got to sit here and watch some guy named Hartenstein. Dude, first of all, if you're a Knicks fan, you know his name's pronounced Hartenstein. Second of all, if you watched them all of last year, you know Hartenstein is a really good fucking player.
Are you hearing that, Stephen A's interns? Because you're the one sending them all our data. So take that to them.
If you're gonna be, complaining about somebody on the Knicks, it's not Hartenstein. Okay, that guy works his ass off, and he's a total team player. He's great.
Yeah.
So when he does things like that, you go, does he really watch them, or does he?
He's been at games.
So what?
Well, I think if he's spending the money to go,
he goes to a game like a celebrity goes to a game. He walks around and everybody looks at him.
When he's in L.A. and the Knicks are on, he's got him on TV in front of him. No matter what he's doing, he's got the game on.
So how would he complain about Hartenstein a week ago and say some guy named Hartenstein like he doesn't know who he is? He's been an integral part of the team for over a year now.
He was in the playoffs last year?
Yes.
Okay.
He was.
I don't know because
he was the rotating big last year. You liked him. I
did like him. Yeah, but I forgot his name.
Yeah,
he came off the bench. Yeah,
7-foot white guy.
Yeah, no, look. I'm all for white basketball players, as you know.
Love your white basketball.
I do, especially American ones. But anyway, that's beside the point.
It'd be like this: if there was somebody on TV that acted like they were a Celtics fan, right, and then, I don't know, somebody gets hurt, and he goes, and now I'm sitting here watching some guy named Hauser.
Hauser's good, by the way.
Exactly.
He's got
Hauser's an integral part of the team, right?
This year he's become. So they're playing him fine.
So only a casual wouldn't know who he was, and even a casual will probably know who he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you question that person's
Well, how
big of a fan are you?
Well, look, again, he has said on many times that he can't watch them for stage, and he'll go stages without watching them because they do something that pisses him off to the point where he just shuts them off. Which, as a fan, I can understand that because my teams have made me that mad too. It happened to me last night with the Celtics, and we'll get into them in a minute. But anyway, so I can relate to he's not wrong.
A year and a half, Hartenstein's been on the team.
I'm saying maybe he's watched some bits and pieces along the way, and the kid, for whatever reason, I don't know.
There's no way.
Well, he seems to know a lot about the team. He doesn't know this kid, but it's not like he doesn't know nothing about the team.
That's my point. It's like there's no way. If you're a big fan of the Knicks, 2 weeks ago you didn't know who Isaiah Hartenstein is.
I would say
there's no way.
And he knows this is true. And I'm not trying, but there are levels to fandom. There are the nuts like him.
But he acts like he's such a fan that they drive him insane. If you're that big a fan,
he drives him not to watch him. In fact, one point last year, he said, "I'm not watching the rest of the year. I don't care what they do," because he was so disgusted with the way they were playing.
And then
I don't know if he did or he didn't. By the way, if he held good on that, then maybe he didn't see him.
Dude, he crushed them for not getting Donovan Mitchell.
He did. That was the first. That was the first.
Then when they were facing him in the playoffs, picked the Cavs, I believe. Yeah. Then flipped to the Knicks and acted all happy, and then was pissed when they lost to the Heat. And it's kind of like.
Yeah, he watched him in the playoffs.
Right. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like when somebody talks about you could talk shit about your family member, but the minute somebody else does it, like you get an issue with it.
Of course you do.
Even if they say the same thing you did.
Yeah. Hey, Beck. Hello. Yep. And that's the one that keeps the ball rolling right there.
That's me.
No, I was talking about my wife.
Okay,
I refer to her as domestic goddess. Anyway.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Let's flip over to
why
the old Seamen.
Well, he's not
the Celtics, the Seamen. Did they ever call him the Seamen?
No, not ever.
Jeez. So after this love fest happened, okay. So let me tell you a few things that have happened to the Seamen over the past couple nights. So on Wednesday, when they had their comeback win. Against who was it? Minnesota.
Number 1 Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Who beat them in overtime in Minnesota when the Celtics had a shot to win it, but Brown missed the buzzer to win it there. They had to lose in
without
overtime.
Porzy, so they have that. Yeah. He's just gushing with positive energy.
Yes.
The following day sends me a text message about Jaylen Brown talking about being the best defender on the planet, like he has the potential to be.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show before
and
this
Jaylen
happened.
Brown's talking about it now.
Which tells you we actually know more than we let on.
Because you know, RJ started it. He put it out into the universe. And then...
Facts is I did say it before.
And then last night, I look on my phone to see what the score of the Celtics game, and I was like, yowzes!
Yeah.
I mean, they were down 30 in the first half, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And now here's the thing. Now that you've gone your little set this up for what you think is going to happen.
No, I don't think you're going to be pissed.
Not one bit. There's a conundrum there. Look, the reality is this. The night before they went to overtime with the best team in the West, it was the 5th game in 7 nights. They landed in Wisconsin, wherever they landed, at 1 a.m., and the game was at 7 p.m. They just ran out of gas.
I never thought
and,
you
and by the way, I know what that feels like because I have run out of gas too. If I play games
on the road, did you have a gas can?
I played 4 games in one day in an AAU tournament. 4 games in one day. We played at 9 o'clock, played at 12 o'clock, played at 4 o'clock, played at 8 o'clock. By the 4th game, I was gassed. I was 4 games in one day, and you play 30 minutes a game and a 40-minute game every time at that speed. No, I was gassed.
Have you ever done 5 and 7 nights while flying?
I've done 11 in 3 days.
While flying?
No, but I played 11 games. I don't care what you do. You can be walking across the street.
I said 5 and 7 nights while flying.
Flying, at least you're sleeping. Your feet
flying
are
Flying takes it out of you.
A lot of things take it out of you. I'm just saying, now here's the problem. Not that they lost, not that they got blown out. By the way, they have bitch slapped Milwaukee 6 ways to Sunday for about 18 months now, going back to the playoffs a year and a half ago.
That's why I was surprised when I saw it.
So look, Milwaukee was due. Milwaukee circled this game. Milwaukee needed this for their fucking psyche because the Celtics were in their heads.
The only thing I didn't like was that you guys had everybody. Would have been nice for you to sit one of them.
The point
Coming
is,
off that 5 for 7.
Well, the point is that he didn't know what they were going to do. I think Missoula was waiting to see how they'd react, and they didn't play in the second half. Now, here's where the conundrum starts. Okay. They brought this up on NBA Today. Kendrick Perkins, you guys know Perk, the guy, the black Zoolander. If he turns left, he explodes. At least that was his post game. If he turned left, he would have exploded. He was the black Zoolander. Anyway, the point is this: he's got a ring. He's a Celtic. Once a Celtic, always a Celtic. And he brought up something today on the air, and it was valid. He said, "Look, I get that they lost, and by the way, this is a mentality." And then he went back to 2008 and talked about how those Celtics, and this is true, by the way, I looked it up, they were 16-3 on back-to-backs. 16-3. Now that team won the world championship. This team coming into the game was 5-1, which is very good. So now they're 5-2, and they lost at Milwaukee. In the big picture, that's not a big deal. Milwaukee's number 2 in the East. They were waiting for him, and we played the number 1 team in the West the night before and went to overtime. This was set up for a rout. Because they were going to be gassed, and Milwaukee, to their credit, good team took advantage of it, and they put them down quick and didn't give them a chance to breathe. Now, did the Celtics contribute to that with their 20-something threes in the first half? Yes! But they usually don't go 1 for 22, which means tired legs. Yeah. Now, here's where I'm mad at them. Because if you knew that, which you should have, you know your body, why are you taking 22 threes? Why aren't you going to the basket? So that was my problem with them.
But they're probably too tired to go to the
basket. Too tired to go to the damn basket. Now, they're
up.
down to his point 30 at the half. It's the largest deficit in the shot clock era, by the way, at half.
Really?
By a first-place team.
Wow.
Because they're the best team in the NBA by far. They're 3 games ahead of the team that's behind them. So they're ahead of everybody right now.
Who's 2? Minnesota?
Minnesota, who they went 3 up on, and they're 3.5 up or 2.5 up, whatever it is today. But anyway, they're still ahead of them, and they've got the split with Minnesota. The point is, it was 5th game in 7 nights, and they played a great team the night before, and it went to overtime. They were gassed. And what I'm trying to do as I get older is evolve, not go, well, I'm set my ways, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
You being the old dog?
Yeah, I'm an old dog now. I'm 50. It's safe to say I'm at the top of the cliff, and now I'm looking over it. So in any event, the point is that I don't want to be that way. So I'm trying to see it from their perspective. We always talk about these guys because they're so good at what they do. We've talked about this before, how when you're a professional athlete, people look at you like you walk around with a cape.
Yeah.
Because so few people are professional athletes.
So few people can do what they do.
Yeah, let me explain to you how elite they are. If you were a high school athlete in any sport in the United States, let me give you a little fun fact for you. Of all the high school athletes in America, with all the sports included, did you know only 7% of them, this is all the sports, play college athletics? Think about that for a minute. If you played a high school varsity sport, you qualify. Okay? Only 7%, and this is all high school sports, okay, combined, go on to play college athletics. Think about that. And that's it. So if you played D3 college ball, you're a fucking stud. If you played NAIA college ball, you're a fucking stud. Because only 7% of this fucking planet does it, can do it. And that's Division III. So think about that, what I just said, and think about the guys we're talking about. They're in the 1% that they're the best in the world. That gives you a perspective on how great these guys really are. So we put them on a pedestal that is not fucking fair. Because you know why? At the end of the day, they're still human. And what happened last night, which is
because this skill
Yeah.
and talent that they have
Yeah.
doesn't take away their humanity.
they're human.
Their human nature is still
You
there.
said shit, a plane ride across the country knocks you out.
Yeah.
Why? They're still fucking
They're
human.
just normal people.
You're normal people. Then all the training in the world can't stop or prevent that from happening. You know why? Because they're human. So while we will continue to criticize because we're fans, we will always try to do it with the grain of salt. Well, look, that human nature, okay? Because sometimes it's just human nature.
Just because you're that good
Yeah.
doesn't mean you
can't be-
You can be that good.
Yeah, you can't. You be a
every
robot.
single
Yeah,
time.
you mentally shut it off, and you have no emotions, no anything, no beliefs, no thoughts, no nothing.
Impossible.
It's impossible. You're human. So that's why I didn't get pissed about the Knicks because the Knicks look at that team without Luka Doncic and think in their head, oh, we should win this game, and they underestimate him.
Felt like
Why?
that's what happened.
Human nature. Because if I was them, Luka's not playing. Oh, all right,
shit, we're
we're gonna beat these guys
we're gonna
tonight.
eat up in
That-
this
and it's a
bitch.
classic mistake, but humans do this, human error. And by the way, this right there is why we watch sports.
'Cause you
Right
never-
there.
'cause
You
know.
never fucking know. You never fucking know. So that's the thing. And with the Celtics last night, as bad as that was, it's what blip on the radar. They've been boat racing Milwaukee. They beat Milwaukee by 51 game last year. 40 something, okay? In Milwaukee, I might add. So
I remember that.
yeah, so this doesn't tip the scale in any way. And by the way, the good thing about all the NBA guys, they knew, like, God, this is their 5th game in 7 nights. They played Minnesota. It wasn't like they played fucking, a Chicago or something like that. No, they played Minnesota. Okay, if you didn't see Minnesota play, you might want to watch them. They're elite.
When's their next game?
They play on tomorrow in Boston. They play either Toronto. I think it's Toronto.
Will they go back to Boston?
They go back to Boston.
Because that game was in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
That was good that he
Ball.
pulled them for the second.
Yeah,
half.
well, this is the thing. Perkins said something, and I know why he said it. Because he said, look, guys, when I was a Celtic, and I should have seen it coming, there was this thing that kept getting force-fed to me, shoved down my throat. Every time a legend, and by the way, there's a lot of legends in that franchise, walked through the door, it was 2 words, Celtic pride. Well, what last night reminded you of Celtic pride? That the Celtics, a Celtic would never fucking throw in the towel and give up. Now he's got a point. But,
Sure, he's got a point,
But
at the same time-
last night to me had nothing to do with Celtic pride. Okay, he's got a point that Missoula should have probably let him go out there and see if they have any fight in the 3rd quarter. If they don't, then pull him. Because then he could say he tried.
Maybe it was Celtic intelligence.
Maybe it was, there's no point in risking an injury here, 5th
Right.
game in 7 nights, on a game we're not going to win, that's not going to kill us.
Right.
Okay, but if somebody goes down in the second half, you know what I'm going to question? You were down 35 points. Why was he playing in the second half?
Yeah.
This is the question no one asked about Bill Belichick when Matt Judon got hurt in the Cowboy game when it was out of hand, and he took fucking Mac Jones out. Well, the game was over. There was no point in risking injury. Well, then why was Matt Judon out there? Where was the follow-up question on that? Because now he's gone for the season, and that went your season. Okay, so fair question, by the way. So Missoula, there's 2 schools of thought here.
Dude, blind pride
Yep.
can hamper you.
What's the saying? Pride always cometh before the fall. That's why that's a saying. You have to be smart enough, to his point, to know when to swallow your pride. It doesn't mean you don't have it. But pride is only to be used in certain situations, okay, when it matters, when it's relevant. Last night wasn't about Celtic pride. Last night was about, I'm not going to lose a star for 6 weeks because I played him in a game that was out of hand and we weren't going to come back. Because he read his team. And by the way, he wasn't wrong. Because I knew in the 1st quarter they were gassed. That's why I didn't get mad about it. I turned it off in the middle of the 2nd quarter, but I can't watch this anymore. But I was like, they're gassed. They don't have it tonight. There was no hope of a comeback. It wasn't going to happen. I knew that in the middle of the beginning of the 2nd quarter when they came out, and they were just dead. It wasn't like they were trying to, they're missing layups. They were gassed. Because when you're gassed, the effort's not even enough because you're gassed. Yeah. And I have felt that as an athlete, so I know what that looks like because I have felt it. So I give them a pass for last night. I'm not happy they got beat by 30, but I also know that wasn't the team that wasn't the same team that went toe-to-toe with Minnesota the night before. That team was fighting. This team had no fight left, and it just didn't. And at that point, the coach has to, Robert Kraft said it today. Sometimes we have to protect who's the doctor know in the room? We have to protect ourselves from ourselves. You need a person like that in your organization. Go, no, don't do this. You need that person, okay? You have to think long term.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
not to win that game last night.
No, it's to win the championship.
Right.
And if him taking those guys out, but so they're there in June, then it's the right thing to do. You'll look back on and go, he was right to do that. Because if someone, God forbid, goes down at scenario, then you and I are having a different conversation right now.
Yeah.
And so would Kendrick Perkins, by the way. Okay,
well, and the nice part is he took them out.
Yeah.
They got a little extra rest because they didn't play a full
By the way,
game.
the backup's got a whole half of experience.
There you go. Experience getting their ass beat.
That's all right. You got to play through that.
No, but at this point, hopefully they respond and they come out tomorrow. Remember, and they start another run.
I'm saying, what if this triggers a 12-game win streak? Will it have been a bad decision then? Because this is the kind of thing that can.
Because when you think about it like this, you're preparing for the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay, you had 5 games in 7 nights.
Yep.
That's like a playoff series.
It is, basically.
Okay, so
even a playoff series is spread out more than that.
Right. Oh, especially the first
2 weeks. It goes on 2 weeks.
So you worked your ass off for that 7-day stretch. Look, okay, we started this game. Now you're sitting. Take a full day off tomorrow. And then boom, you come back like it's a new fucking playoff series.
Yeah. And by the way,
start your run.
In this 5 games and 7 stretch night, they lose at Indiana by 2 when they got hosed on calls. They'd been 4-1 in this 5-game stretch.
There you go.
They got hosed, okay, in that game, and everybody says it. Even the analysts are going. And by the end, the NBA admitted to ESPN, it's a story that they screwed up the Porzingis at the end, that he didn't foul him. They said that was wrong. They gave the league's even admitted the refs fucked up. So the Celtics got fucked. When the league is admitting it, the Celtics got fucked. Okay. So anyway, I give them a pass for last night. We'll see what happens tomorrow. There's still 3 games in front in the East in the conference ahead of everybody. That doesn't kill them. It doesn't. So to this point, the good thing is, in a situation like that, the only way it gets worse is if somebody important gets hurt. Nobody did. Get out of town. Live to fight another day. So
tomorrow is Emi Udoka comes to town.
Oh, Houston.
Wow.
That could be.
That's interesting.
That could be interesting.
Because I know he's not happy with the Celtics.
No, he doesn't play though, so he can be as mad as he wants. By the way, I don't think he's mad at the players because it wasn't the players' call. So he can be mad at management, but he loves those kids. He loves them. He didn't want to. He would still be the coach right now if not for that.
But I'm sure he wants to beat the organization.
Yeah.
Now,
but those kids, he's not going to take it out on them. It wasn't their decision.
2 days later, you go to Toronto, who's new look Toronto.
Looks good. Looks better.
Looks good with R.J. Barrett and
looks better.
Emmanuel Quickly. Then you're back home against Wemby.
Well, I'm not worried about Wemby.
You guys will stomp
We
them.
boat raced him in San Antonio by 25. Not worried about Wemby.
You stay at home 2 nights after that and play the Nuggets.
That's the one. Stop right there.
Friday the 19th.
That's the one. Next Friday night. That's one of those.
Have you played them yet this year?
Nope. It's our first meeting.
Oh, that's good.
So Boston has to get through this week and win, because that just makes that game all the more important. And it's at home. That's the one. But they can't skip. Houston is good. Toronto is good. They got those are 2 games in between. San Antonio has Wemby. I'm not worried about
Toronto, San Antonio.
Yep, they should win all 3 of those games.
Denver.
Yep, they should win all 3 of those games. They're the better team.
And Denver, you guys are better than Denver.
Yes,
right
we
now.
are. Oh, yeah, by far.
Denver, something about them. Remember when we were watching them the other night?
They don't look right.
Who were they losing to the other night?
Utah boat raced them.
That's right. They were beating the shit out of them.
Utah boat raced them. After Boston beat Utah by 35 nights earlier. And Utah, I said they beat Philly and they beat Milwaukee and they just beat Denver.
Dude,
that's a heck of a 3 games.
You guys have a little stretch.
Yeah.
Starting, look at this stretch. Okay. So we'll start with Denver next Friday.
Yeah.
Sunday, you go to Houston. The following night, you go to Dallas.
Back to back. That's in the same state.
3
That's
days.
a bus ride.
3 days later, that's not. I don't know if that's a bus ride. That's far, Houston.
Dallas to Houston.
I think it's hours.
It's a bus ride.
Maybe. But a bus ride sucks.
Not the bus they got.
Then 3 days later, you're in Miami.
Yeah,
Then you go home to get the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Pacers, the Lakers, Minnesota.
Lakers suck.
And then finally it calms down.
Minnesota.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, Memphis.
Memphis.
Oh, so that's weak.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaws out for the year.
So yeah, no. So then, okay, so it really stops with it's from the 19th
The
to the
Pacers, because
30th.
LA sucks too. LA sucks.
From the 19th to the 30th, so that's an 11-day stretch.
Yeah.
Denver, Houston, Dallas, Miami, LA Clippers, New Orleans, Indiana. This is a big 10-day stretch
Yes,
coming
it
up.
is. Yep.
Then it cools off, and you go LA, Memphis, Atlanta, Washington.
Yeah, we need a
And
break.
you should just
we
pee
need,
all over
we need,
them.
we need a break after what you just described.
Yeah.
So let's see what they're going to do. The point is they're healthy. I have no problem with them not playing Porzingis in back-to-back nights. They look at they're heeding the warnings. They want him for June. And I said, I don't care if he plays 60, 65 games. He needs to be there in June. Because to his point, he's never there in June.
No, he's not.
So
I was...
And so they do that to get him there, and he gives him shit for
I know.
it.
I'm a little sick, okay? I'm a little sick because...
Did you notice that, by the way?
I don't know if it was this
They're actually
morning.
heeding your warning, Tom.
I don't know if it was this morning or last night, but I started imagining, I was like, what if he gets hurt for the playoffs? What do you think the look that RJ will give me will be if Porzingis is hurt for the playoffs? Or like, what would I say? You know, just like thinking through the
You'd
possibilities.
say, I told you so.
But I don't want to be like that, even though I'm thinking about it.
Sure. And because he failed with the Knicks, you want him to fail
That's
with the
right.
Celtics.
That's what it is.
You can't let that go.
I need to let that go. The
'Cause
poor
they-
guy
they-
wanted to play. He was just hurt.
But yeah, he was hurt. And by the way, Dolan isn't the world's greatest owner. He's pushed more guys away. But you know, when Porzingis got traded, that wasn't something everybody wanted to have. Everybody was in favor of that move.
Yeah.
They thought he gave up on the kid too soon. And they might have. I don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know.
I don't know that he gave up on it, but it was like, where were they going at that point?
Well, you can't do it alone.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you really have around him? They weren't a good team.
No.
One guy doesn't get you a championship. Look at this kid went beyond how good he is. San Antonio sucks. They can't win 10 games.
Yeah.
And this kid's a stud already. One guy doesn't do it. It's impossible. Okay? So, and by the way, he was their best player when he was there. That I do know in New York. And they didn't have anything around him. They were a joke. So to pin that all on him is bullshit when you didn't build around him. That's bullshit. That's why I gave the Patriots crap for not building around Mac Jones. That's fucking bullshit. One guy can't turn water into wine. It doesn't fucking work like that. Not in
Well,
team
what about
sport.
Jesus?
If he suits up tomorrow,
That was a joke.
host Jesus, you are welcome to join us. Put on a green jersey. I don't care, or a Bruins jersey.
So here's my thing. If
How about a
Jesus
Red
turned
Sox
water
jersey? We
into
need to
wine,
start.
Was it like, would it still count as water? Or did he actually physically change it?
3 things about God that people always overlook. I don't care who the God is. They all created beer, wine, and marijuana. So whoever the God is,
People don't overlook that.
I think they should pay
That's why
homage to it.
people. That's why people argue that
That's
shit.
what. I'm telling you. Who else could have created this but God?
Some
When you
guy.
think about it, just saying. No, but somebody had to have the idea. And, it had to come from somewhere.
It's true.
So, and by the way, proof that weed existed before man. You ever see a fucking platypus? Tell me God wasn't smoking some of the hoochie mama that night. Look me in the eye and tell me that. I want to know. Anyway, we'll be back. That's a hell of a way to end it. Segment 2 will come back. Hey, NFL playoffs this weekend. Pick segment. This is going to be good. We got 6 potential Donnies here. Tom and I are going to go over our final regular season records. We're going to predict these games and the Giggle Smoke guarantee. 2 cents with Tommy. Do we have 2 cents tonight?
I'm floating on one.
Well, we have time. And by the way, Yoda, Betty, and Joe Brewer in the hizzy. I think we'll come up with something.
Can I read you the 2018 Knicks roster?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, right now. Go ahead.
I mean, we're talking about.
Okay, well, we were about to end the segment. Go ahead.
You were screaming about. You blame all that on Porzingis.
Why is he going to
That's
tell me?
bullshit.
Are you going to tell me why it's all his fault?
I just wanted to share some of the studs the Knicks had.
Now, he could be going one of 2 ways with this America. I'm just telling you.
I'm about to throw it in your face. That's what I'm about to do.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me the names of these studs.
Ron Baker,
And
Michael Beasley,
still waiting for a stud. You going in alphabetical order?
Trey Burke. Thank you.
Not quite there. He's close, though.
Damian Dotson,
Who?
Enes Freedom,
What?
Tim Hardaway Jr.,
Not Tim Hardaway. His son.
Willie-
His father's a Hall of Famer.
Willie
not this-
Hernan Gomez,
Who?
Isaiah Hicks,
What?
Jarrett Jack. Now shut up on this one. Luke Cornett, Celtic stud.
Celtics' 10th man.
Mindaugas Kuzminskis,
I don't know what country he's from, but I'm willing to bet he's there now.
Courtney Lee,
I remember Courtney Lee.
Doug McDermott, son of the Creighton coach, Emmanuel Mudai,
Is it a JV team? What the hell is this?
Joakim Noah,
Oh, and over the hill, old Joakim Noah.
That's correct.
35-something, pot-smoking Joakim Noah. Oh, you know, he openly admits it.
was he 35?
He was old. He was in his 30s.
He was probably 33, 34.
Well, I was close.
Frank Nitlikina.
That's it right there. That dude. That's the franchise. Him.
Oh man, they drafted him higher than a lot of really good players.
I mean, they were higher than a lot of when they made the pick.
Kyle O'Quinn, Ramon Sessions, Lance Thomas,
Ramon Sessions.
Troy Williams.
Are there 12 or
and
20?
the one and only
Kristaps Porzingis.
Kristaps Porzingis. Holy shit, that roster!
So in other words, when RJ was right, he was fucking right.
Wow. And they won 29 games.
And yet, it was all Porzingis' fault, America.
It was.
Anyway, I think we should end on that. That's a Hulk Hogan leg drop right there. We will see you in segment 2. Giggle Smoke Guarantee. 2 cents with Tommy and NFL Wild Card Weekend. Donnie Brooks abound.
He
We'll see you.
only played 48 games.
I would have played 20 with that group. I'd have tapped out in 15 with those losers. Anyway, we'll see you.
Some Celtic pride you got.
That's the Knicks, not the Celtics. The Celtics would never have drafted a roster like that.
He played 72, 66,
We'll
48.
see you in segment 2. NFL. Hey, grab a frothel, Cole and Fine Yoda, Betty Jobu. They're all in the hizzy. Electric sex glowing, glistening in the background. And a surprise for you tonight. You're not going to believe this. Segment 2 coming
What's
right
the
up.
surprise?
Well, if I tell you, it's not a surprise.
I don't like surprises.